G Panda Beat.
Blessings, blessings, blessings. Welcome to the Triggered Thoughts podcast. Your host, Geniusdan, and co-host,
Verbz.
Yes, Verbz. How are you, man? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, cuz. You know what I mean? Just here, bro. You know what I mean? Ready again for another episode, man. So all is well, man.
Yeah,
what about you?
Good. Yeah, I'm good, I'm good, man.
Excellent, excellent.
Looking forward to this. Yeah, we're good to go. How does the mic sound, all right?
Yeah, man, your mic sounds crisp, bro.
Oh, cool, yeah. All right, people. So let's get this show on the road. We are now doing a talk on why do partners kill each other.
My God!
This is a very serious subject because it's actually something that's happening a lot. And, what I would like to say before we get into this is please do your research when you get involved in someone. Make sure you know the background history, the front history, the side history. Just make sure you know the person you get involved in. It's not a joke. People are dying. Yeah? People are getting killed. Yeah? Left, right, and center. It's not a joke. So, yeah, people, what I've come to realize, and I was speaking to Verbz about this, is that there are people that are in relationships, I'd say very toxic relationships, where the relationship could be controlling. There could be an element of jealousy in there, bitterness. There's a number of things. And the thing is, I truly believe that people don't really know how far they're willing to go when it comes to this killing. Let me explain something. If you're someone that has any sort of jealousy residing inside yourself, you got to kill it, man. It's because jealousy is like a cancer. It will eat away at you, and before you know it, you're consumed by it. My God! People are, and this. I'm not just gonna get out just one particular. I'm not. It's not just only males. It goes for females because both are doing this. If you find that you're in a relationship here and you're someone that is very easily angered, you get jealous at your other half getting any form of attention. If things don't work out, it becomes a massive problem. These are all little things that you need to deal with and check. This is what I mean, because these things, when they fester, it then progresses into something else. And we're finding that there's a lot of people that are very insecure. And when I say insecure meaning that if things don't go their way, all of a sudden now there's domestic violence. My God! Sometimes the domestic violence can end up costing someone their very lives. Yeah? Just something simple as that. Just something that could be resolved just by a conversation can escalate into murder. You're finding that people, if a relationship doesn't work out, if you leave me, if I can't have you, no one can have you. Just little snide remarks like that people tend to take very lightly because they don't think that the person will follow through with that threat. But it's a very serious threat. I don't know how you would class such a threat. Would you take it with a pinch of salt? Would you brush it off as maybe being nothing?
To be honest with you, I think a threat of that nature could make you, you could overlook it, but I think it would be in your best interest to take that comment seriously and maybe ask the person what they meant by that, or I don't know, try to investigate a little bit further, because that kind of comment, if the person that says it to you has got that nature in them, you just never know where it's gonna go, innit?
Yeah, that's very, very true. And this topic that we're touching on is going to be an eye-opener, and I look at it as a warning for a lot of people that are about to get into relationships or that are currently in relationships. So please, people, listen very attentively, yeah? Make sure both your ears are engaged. So, cause I was looking into this, as I said before, I watch a lot of documentaries on, one of them being viral crimes.
I see them posts that you've been putting up on the Instagram, man.
Yeah, and I post those up to bring awareness, because I think people just take things very lightly. And as I said before, what I've come to realize is that with a lot of these murders in relationship, a lot of it is the common reason, for like intimate partner homicide was jealousy, followed by gain, then followed by love. You see, you have some people, they're in a relationship, and I don't feel that they're mature enough to be in a relationship, because if you've been seeing someone for a period of time and it's clearly not working out, go your separate ways. But, I've come to realize that some people find it very hard to separate. Some people find it very hard to hear the words, it's not working out. And
sorry to cut you, Genius, for the listeners, when you're saying that if you're in a relationship and it doesn't seem to be working out, maybe for the listeners that might be in that situation, is there any way that you can give an example of that? Definitely. Constantly arguing. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having an argument in relationship. No relationship is perfect. Arguments will happen, but it's how you deal with that argument. What are you arguing about? And if it's a thing where it's day in, day out, something is wrong. Clearly, maybe, you're not meant to be together. If you've tried everything possible to try and make it work and you find that you're just getting nowhere, then, an alternative is something that needs to be sort of, you need to think of something, alternative. Maybe you're not meant to be together, Sometimes as well, like the hits, the domestic violence as well. No one should be in a relationship, whether it's man, woman, man. No one should be putting hands on anybody. When it gets to where hands are, that's when that relationship is done its time.
My God!
You see what I mean?
100%.
The arguments, the fighting, the cussing, the lack of communication. The jealousy.
Lack of respect.
Yeah, lack of respect. You should be able to be at a stage when you're in a relationship where you guys can communicate well together. If someone's not happy or in the relationship, you should be able to voice your concerns maturely as two grown adults and be able to come to some sort of reasoning, And if you find that that's something that you're not able to do, then you're not meant to be together, man. Do you see what I mean? You're not meant to be together. I've come to realize, just obviously through observations and, research and reading and watching these documentaries, jealousy is a very, very dangerous thing, and it seems to be a common one. I'll give you an example. A lot of these murders that take place, a lot of it is also insecurity. Yeah? And what I've come to realize is not insecurity from the female side, but it's from the male side. And don't get me wrong, there's been cases where there's female, but the majority is male side. And I think that a lot of men do not handle rejection very well. They don't. And it's clearly evident, because if you go onto Google and you go onto YouTube, you see that this is a common thing and nobody's talking about it. Yeah. People are out here killing each other, for stuff that's like, you're like, wow, it didn't need to get to that. One of them will be cheating. Another thing as well, unfaithfulness. Yeah.
Infidelity.
Yeah. Is one of them. Jealousy is another thing. Yeah. Controlling behavior. If you're in a relationship and your partner's controlling, it's a red flag. Nobody should be controlling anybody. Searching your phone. Why are you talking to this man? Why are you talking to this woman? How long have you known them? How long have you been speaking to? Some people even go to the extent of ringing that person. You see what I mean? If you're in a relationship and you find that you're having to constantly check phone, something is wrong. Something is very wrong. If there's no trust in a relationship, something is wrong. That relationship will never work out, because you're not going to be at peace mentally. Because you'll be at work, you'll be at home, and your mind will be, I wonder if. Do you see what I mean? And that's another thing as well, because people, there's a lot of people that are in relationship and they're not free. So, I mean,
You took the words out of my mouth there, you know.
Yeah, they're not free, man. And you know, we really need to get to the root of this, because this thing where, you know, why partners are killing each other, it's a common thing. Sometimes people go into a fit of rage. Do you see what I mean? We have to get to, people need to get to a stage in their life where, you know, they're able to take bad news. They're able to be able to handle rejection. You know what I mean? If you know that you're someone that will find it difficult to separate from your partner if it doesn't work out, then you're not meant to be in a relationship, you know, man or woman, whosoever you are. Simple.
My God.
You know, because you've got people out there that are doing a life sentence for murder, and you have some people here where, listen to this, cuz they don't only kill the woman, they kill the son, they kill the daughter. Listen, man, I've seen I've watched some horrific things, and I'm like, wow. You see what I mean? Cause, you know, like, obviously, just, this is not your portion, but how would you, because we need to let the listeners, you know, give them some, you know, like, examples, you know, how whether even from the past, how have you handled rejection? Like, would there ever be anything in you where you think you could be driven to murder your partner?
Boy, I'd hope not. Yeah, I'd hope not. Still, you know what? Wait, cuz, and the listeners, you know, when you're young, yeah, sometimes you handle things very immaturely, innit? And you can't see. It's weird because even though you're young and you got like you'd hope you have your whole life ahead of you, you kind of deal with things sometimes like you can't see tomorrow. So if you know, I remember being young in the past and I might get dumped by a girl, you almost think it's like the end of the world.
My God.
Yeah.
Do you get me? But
Yeah.
I feel like even though you feel like that sometimes, you're young, so you kind of get on with things quick because your life's very active. It's not boring. It's busy. You do a lot of, you know what I mean? You got a lot of friends to go see. So in a short space of time, even though you might feel down in the dumps, when you get dumped, you kind of move past it without realizing it pretty quickly, innit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? But I don't think I could ever drive myself to a place where if a woman dumped me, I'm gonna want to inflict damage on her or, you know, do anything crazy. You know, you'd be upset or whatever. But I suppose as well the truth of the matter as well, because I think when you're in a relationship and it gets to a point where the woman dumps you and you might be, I don't know, a bit jealous or controlled. I think the truth is you have to be honest with yourself. So before it gets to that point, I think it's for you to kind of understand the relationship is at its wit's end. And when the dumping comes, you kind of know the relationship is on its last leg. So when it comes, you can manage it. But I think some people live in the land of illusion and their relationship's at breaking point and they're still like hanging on to it and telling people, you know, living a lie. Yeah, we're all good and this and that, you know, and then when they get dumped, it hurts even more, which I can imagine. I'm guessing that might push people to do something stupid in response.
Powerful. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, you know, what would you say if because there's going to be people that are listening that are currently in a situation where they know that there's a potential that something like that can happen to them. What would you say to the people like that?
Well, that they could be harmed.
Yeah, because there's people that are in a lot of domestic violence and they've been threatened with death. They've been threatened saying, if you leave, you know, this is going to happen to you. So what would you say to such people that are currently going through that and they don't seem to be a way out?
It's hard because I can give people examples, but those people live in their reality themselves, if you know what I'm saying. So I can only give some suggestions, but whether people take it is another thing, because to be in a relationship where, you know, you're being controlled and stuff like that, or people are issuing threats to that magnitude where they're saying, you know, if you leave me or this and that, I want to inflict this damage on you or do this to you and stuff, you know, they would have been psychologically controlled first before those threats or any physical abuse happened. Do you get me?
Yeah.
But
100%.
what I would say to anybody in that situation, you just have to kind of, I think the best way is, unless you're a person that stays at home and you're being controlled, might be a bit more difficult. But I think if you're a person that goes to work, or I don't know, you go out and do other things, there must be people outside of your household that you can confide in and let them know that this is what's going on, and you can sort of work towards, with support from telling the right person outside of your home, you can kind of work towards building up a plan where you can make a little step by step, day by day plan where you can sort of ease yourself out of it. So even if it's a thing where like you go to work, but at home you're being threatened by your man that, oh, if you do this and if you do that, I'm going to do this to you or I'm going to hurt you or whatever. Maybe it's a thing where when you go to work, you take extra clothes to work. You take extra belongings to work, just enough so it doesn't look obvious. And you leave those things at work because you may have confided in your work manager. Do you know what I mean? And then when you've got a build up of stuff there, when you get to work now, you can then make your move away from that person from work rather than making your move away from that person from your house, because you've got enough stored at the workplace to get you through. So I think those little plans will probably be more effective for somebody in that situation.
Yeah, true. No, 100%. That's a fact. That's a fact. Some people that are in these relationships have been in the relationship for so long that they've become accustomed to the domestic abuse.
Most definitely.
Some of them have even become numb, to what they're going through. And,
My God.
I truly believe that they feel that the person will change at some point, but sometimes it can be too late because the person ends up killing you. And you see what I mean? It's sad.
Sometimes when you're in a relationship and you're being treated a certain way, I'd imagine more so a woman being treated a certain way by a man. If the man's behaviors are not normal, over the top, inappropriate, whatever you want to call it, I think you have to identify it as such and not get yourself to a point where you're so in love with that person or so besotted with that person, you start hanging on to the hope factor, because I think the hope factor is the dangerous thing.
The hope factor, yeah?
Yeah. When you're hoping that a person's going to change.
And how
they're
long
treating you a certain way, but you hope that they're gonna develop and change to be a different person. If they're displaying certain behaviors to you on a daily basis, you need to shake off the hope factor, mate.
Wow. Yeah, facts. And how long would you say that person should wait? If they're hoping, how long would you say they should wait for such a person?
Wait for them to change?
Yeah.
Mate, I just think if you've been with somebody for a few months and their behaviors sort of been rotten for several weeks, I don't really think you should be hanging on to the hope factor. If you're telling them how their behavior is making you feel, and I'm not talking about minor things like little arguments and stuff like that. I'm talking about whether it's threats or whether they're trying to control you, or I don't know, they might do things financially because they might be the breadwinner. So you might want to go out and they say, no, you're not going nowhere. I don't want you to go nowhere because you're going to do this with another man or you're going to meet up with other men, and then they don't give you the money to be able to go out, or do you get what I'm saying? Or block you from accessing your account or something like that. Like that those kind of situations like that. Yeah. Like from those behaviors start showing, I don't think you really need to wait long. Like that's just blatant red flag.
My God.
Straight up. What I was going to say as well, I was looking into the statistics, and it was saying that it's estimated that around 4,970 females are victims of murder and non-negligent manslaughter. And that was around 2021. They also
say those statistics again.
Yeah, 4,970 female victims of murder and non-negligent manslaughter. And that was in 2021. I haven't got any update from that, but yeah, it just goes to show you that's not too far away. That's not too, Yeah, look at that's about 2 years, you know.
Wow.
It also says, you know, the data reported by law enforcement agencies indicated that around 34% who were killed by an intimate partner.
That's crazy. 34%.
Mm-hmm.
My God.
That's quite high, isn't it?
Yep, but listen to this. By comparison, about 6% of the 17,970 males murdered that year were victims of intimate partner homicide.
Wow. That's crazy, bro.
You know, and then that's not to even mention as well. And this is why people listen carefully as well. You see, sometimes you have what is called the lover or the rival. You know, you have some people because they will be cheating, and they don't realize the person they're cheating with. Imagine you're seeing the side man or the side woman. I call them, you know, the side piece, the left piece, you name it, yeah.
The coleslaw, the thing on the side of the plate.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and listen to this. How ironic this is. Imagine you're in a committed relationship with your partner, but then the side piece or the love rival goes to the point where he now wants to take out your hubby, and not be funny. Hubby's been in the picture way before you, side man, side woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can imagine that happening.
You know, look at the case with that. Was it in Poland with I don't know if I showed you the video where the guy blasted the boyfriend in front of the woman that was obviously seeing both of them, then turned the gun on himself.
Yeah, that was mad still. I remember you showed me that still.
Yeah, you know, and this is the thing, you know, people take relationships for a joke. You don't want to be in a relationship with someone that would just slit your throat when you're sleeping. I just have to be honest. There's someone out there, there's some of you that are listening, you know that you're in a dangerous relationship and, you know, right now you're thinking of ways to get out. What I would say to you, get out before it's too late. You know another thing as well, cause as well that I want to bring to the attention of the people. This thing where a woman has left a relationship, yeah, she knows that, you know, she's left for the safety of her life, just to then go back and get into a relationship with the same said person for them to end up ultimately killing them.
That's happened, yeah.
Oh, it happens regularly.
My God.
And I think to myself, where was your head?
Is that a matter of, I'm guessing from you giving that example, that's a matter of like the person leaves. That's a matter of being psychologically controlled. So the person leaves and they get away, things seem all right for them. They then end up making contact with that person again, whether it's the person that's left has contacted the person that they left, or the person that's been left has found their contact details or whatever, and they re-spark the psychological control, and that person comes back and then they get murdered.
Yes, that as well. You know, that as well. You know, and
yeah, that's crazy.
You know, further on as well to you know, the last bits I was looking into as well, they're saying that it's also, apparently it's alleged that either the offender's lover or their rival may be the target in these homicides. It's also been confirmed that jealousy accounted for the largest number of the intimate partner homicides that were examined in a study of around 40%. These jealousy cases also include the husbands who killed their wives.
My God.
Yeah. Check this next bit. The intentional killing of a spouse, whether it's husband or wife, by the other partner, spousal killings are usually the result of a long-term pattern of abuse, control, and violence within a relationship. You see this? You see the things that keep coming up regularly. Jealousy, yeah? Violence. You see people, if you're listen, once this hitting thing is happening in your relationship, I don't care if you say you love this person, get out. I'm going to say that with 3 exclamation marks, because you don't know if that the last hit they give you will be a blow that will kill you. And I'm just stating facts, yeah? Because domestic violence, it just takes that one time, for you to get that hit, and that hit might be the last hit that will put you in your early grave. You see it?
My God, my God, my God.
100%, man. 100%. There's just no excuse for people putting their hands on their partners, in it. That's the bottom line. I've always thought to myself, I've been with a few partners in the past, women, and they've come from relationships where they've been victims of domestic violence, and then they feel free to put their hands on me, that kind of marries in with the saying, hurt people, innit? Yeah. But like I've got moral standards where when they do that, I tell them not to. Do you know what I mean? I don't like it, don't do that. And I've made the conscious decision to leave, because the reason why I've made the conscious decision to leave is because I'm not about to stay there and allow you to take me for a punch bag to the point where I get so wound up now, I start responding and hitting you back. Then the next thing you know, me putting my hands on women becomes my normality.
Yeah, it's true. It's true what you just said there,
It's conditioning, isn't it?
Yeah.
You go into a relationship with somebody that's been hurt by somebody, been domestically abused by somebody, they do it to you. If you're not careful, you come out on the other side as a victim, and then you're inflicted because you're hurt. You go and hurt people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My God, my God, my God.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, man, you got to stick to your own moral standards. If you don't like that treatment and you don't want to be a victim of domestic abuse, or you don't want to be a perpetrator of domestic abuse, if somebody's putting their hands on you, you got to make the conscious decision to just leave, especially as men. Don't let a woman get you to the point where you start getting so angry, you put your hands on her. You need to sit down, like I've done in the past, and think to yourself, this woman's really winding me up, But the thought might come into my head that I should do that, but I need to fight it. I need to control it. And before I get to a point where I'm going to start actioning it, let me pack my bags and leave.
Sometimes that's easier said than done,
I've done it a couple of times, because as a man, as a woman, it might be different, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely agree.
Because women get psychologically controlled a lot. Do you know what I mean? In society, I know that women are up there and they're more independent than ever and making their own money and stuff, but there's still a lot of women out there that depend or have the attitude where they want to depend on a man. And when they want to depend on the man's the breadwinner, he can use that as a form of control. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that goes in his favor. And, things can go left because of it. So you just got to hold up your own moral standards, man. That's just how I see it, innit? And just do what's right and, avoid being a part of that statistic where you're putting your hands on women. Do you know what I mean?
My God!
Yeah, very, 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 very true. I even went a bit deeper, because I thought to myself, with this partners killing each other, I thought to myself, what's the sort of age group range? And, I discovered this, and mainly it happens everywhere, but mainly in the States. They were saying that the age range, especially between, the murders of around 4,920, the individual's age ranges was between 20 and 29.
My God, my God, my God.
And they were saying that there were 29 murderer offenders between those ages, and 1 and 9 and 14 murders offenders were 90 or older. Even the old people are, getting involved and doing their part as well.
90, did you say?
Yeah. They said,
19-year-olds swinging blows on each other, yeah.
90, yeah. They were saying, 29 murder offenders between the ages of 1 and 9, and 14 murder offenders were 90 or older. 90 or older, and that was last updated on the 10th of October. That's what
My
they're saying.
God, my God, my
That's crazy.
And as you know, America being the place where, and obviously there's murders that happen everywhere, but as you know, America tends to be a place where, as you know, there's a lot of atrocities. They were saying, listen to this, cuz, It goes, where do most murders happen? Yeah, that's on Google. That's just a question. Yeah, listen to this.
Wait, are you saying murders in general,
Yeah,
or domestic violence based murders?
Murders in relation to what we're talking about.
Right. Go ahead.
And funny enough, as I said before, when I watch these viral crimes, to be honest with you, nine times out of 10, practically I could say 10 times out of 10, it's always to do with a jealous spouse. It's always to do with a relationship. That the motive they're killing is either the partner's trying to leave, the partner's pregnant and they don't want them to follow through with the pregnancy, so then they're killing the partner, killing the unborn child. Or it's mad. They're saying the parts in the states where this happens a lot is Louisiana, Missouri, South Carolina, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alaska, Maryland, Oklahoma, Mississippi, and North Carolina.
Hold on. Ain't most of those areas in the South?
Yeah, funny enough, yeah, they are, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's got something to do with I wonder if that's in correlation to like poverty.
Mind you, a lot of them areas, sometimes they're even ghetto areas, you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Poverty, like the poverty line. I wonder if that's got a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I reckon that plays a good strong. Yeah, definitely. I think that plays a strong part in that, you know.
You know, simple things like I'm just guessing, like when it comes to areas like those that you named. I'm not saying all of them I know of, but quite a few of them you're naming seems to be areas where there might be people that indulge in drug and alcohol taking and stuff like that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that might kind of have an impact on. I'm not saying that they haven't got that in them. Obviously, their character is their character, but that might make the domestic violence displays come out thick and fast.
Yeah, you're right. You know. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
You know, I'm thinking, just having a look at it, I think it's very sad because, you know, the impact that this has, especially if, you know, these people that have a relationship have children, it messes up the household. You know, that child or children can never really recover from something like that because of the, you know, how deep it is, especially if they have a good bond or a good relationship with, you know, both parents or even one. How do you,
when there's a death?
when there's a murder in, you know, where there's these partners killing each other. Because remember, when they do this stuff, they never take into consideration, you know, the impact that it will have on the child or children.
Well, children suffer massively from being in domestic violence, like being kids in a house where there's domestic violence anyway. That damages their development. That's factually proven, and it damages their mental health, you know, and their well-being and stuff like that anyway. So, you know, if that's just them seeing parents or their mum with a partner or their dad with a partner hitting each other, or even not hitting, you can be psychologically damaged from hearing the fights going on in the house, the domestic violence occurring. If that can have such a significant damage on children and young people, I can only imagine the flipping damage that death would do with a child. That's just mad.
It's true. You know
what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. And I'm just thinking, you know, ways that, you know, what can be done differently, you know, to stop all these things happening. Do you see what I mean? Because it's a regular thing now, and it just seems to be increasing in numbers. There doesn't really seem to be any sort of awareness of this unless you go out your way to type in or, you know, research this thing. There's no awareness of this on any platforms. The news are not talking about this. Government are not talking about this. The people that are going through it are not talking about this. You know, they're not getting any friends involved. They're not getting any of their relatives involved. So this is going on unchecked. And, you know, we're having more and more people losing their lives through, you know, this situation. And I feel that there needs to be awareness. This needs to be a topic that's touched on a lot more so that people that are going through it know that, you know what, that they're not alone, that there is some form of help. There is, you know, even if they ring a phone line, if they're not comfortable in meeting or even confiding in a relative or good friend, then they can confide in a complete stranger online that will guide them accordingly. But never listen, if you can't do it for yourself, do it for your children. Think about your child. Think about what will come of your child or your children if you're going through a relationship where, it could potentially cost you your life. Yeah? Take yourself out of the equation. If you've got children, you have to. Think of what will become of your child mentally.
That's a bit of a catch-22 though, because I agree with everything you're saying, rightly so, because you're bringing, you're guiding people into making a decision to leave. But then when you get like a woman that's got children with a man, and she's being domestically abused and stuff like that, and she's psychologically controlled by that man, but obviously the man is the actual father for the children. Sometimes leaving the fact that he's the father, sometimes them women will believe that staying there is the right thing for the children, if you get what I'm saying.
My God.
Sadly, this is why a lot of people are losing their lives though, because
100% I agree. So,
there needs to be there needs to be some sort of justice. Something needs to come of it. You know what I mean? We're losing far too many people, man, through this, and we need like a way forward for these victims or people that are presently going through it still.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if not, eventually they'll lose their lives. You know what I mean? It's inevitable. And that's not being negative. It's inevitable, especially if the partner is a jealous partner. You have no hope. You have no chance. Because at some point, they're going to act on those thoughts. They're going to act on that anger. They're going to act on that frustration. And where's that going to leave the individual?
Well said, rightly said. Mm-hmm.
So, for me, listeners, as I said before, this in no way is getting at you, making you feel, that you're not capable of getting out of the situation. You're more than capable. Just, you've got to really have that determination to do something about it. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait till you realize, oh, you know what? I had an opportunity. If within your hearts of hearts, you've done everything possible. You've done the count. And once again, people, there are people out there that, that do counseling. There are, people out there, you got the psychiatrists, the NHS, even your GP. There are programs, there are, people that you can reach out to that will be able to offer you the support that you need. Especially if you're someone that doesn't like to speak to strangers face to face, or you find it uncomfortable to, speak to someone that you don't really know. There's also online help. You know what I mean? That you can get. But please, never you stay in a situation where things have got so bad that that you could potentially be close to losing your life. You only live once.
My God.
100%. I agree. That statement you just made, yeah, genius. Like, I was just thinking to myself that I know of people that have been in those type of relationships, especially women, yeah, and they've been in bad relationships and they've thought to themselves, oh, you know what, maybe I can fix it if I go and do therapy and stuff like that. But they try and do couples therapy with that person. If the person's not invested, but they turn up, it ain't going to make much change, because they're not going to put in the input to make that change. They want the situation to be how they want the situation to be. And I think for you to be psychologically controlled by somebody, I think a lot of times it's a matter of low self-esteem, low self-confidence that we don't recognize is within us, if you know what I'm saying. So sometimes you have to do your best to try and pick your self-esteem up, pick your self-confidence up. And if you're in a relationship where you're being psychologically controlled, psychologically abused, domestically abused, maybe it's worthwhile doing a little sneaky thing like, I don't know, when you go to work, if you work for a company that can help you get therapy at work, but you don't tell your partner, and when you do that therapy, over time, it lifts you and gives you a level of self-confidence and gives you like a level of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it picks you up, makes you feel more confident. And then you might start pulling out the stops to make change and say, you know, I'm going to leave this relationship. But if you leave it how it is, or you decide to tell your partner, you know, we're in problems and I think our relationship could be better, let's do couples therapy, that ain't going to help. So just invest where you can, at work or outside, if you've got a chance, where your husband is not around you. Invest in that opportunity to try and get some therapy. Taking your child to school, there's therapy available for children at schools all over the globe. Maybe you can talk to school and say you need therapy as a parent with the school as well while you drop them off. It might help you, man. Do you know what I mean?
My God!
That's actually a good idea. That's a very, very good idea. You know, yeah, I agree. But you know, it's just down to people to really act on those things. You can help. What's to say? You can bring a horse down to the water, but you can't force it to drink. So it's for those people to act upon these advice. It's good advice that's been given.
This is it.
You know?
This is it.
Yeah. So yeah, people. Verbs. Have you got anything additional to add?
No, like I said, to be fair, people, and that's very difficult. Women, ladies, it's very difficult to be in a relationship where, you know, you're a victim of domestic violence. But I think it'd be worthwhile in you being honest with yourself and admitting, because the first step to improving anything, just like if you was an alcoholic, you have to admit you're an alcoholic. If you're a drug addict, you have to admit you're a drug addict. Then you start taking the necessary steps to get past that. But if you're in denial, you're not going to change it. So if you're a victim of domestic violence, just admit to yourself, not to nobody else, to yourself. You know, I'm a victim of domestic violence here. Maybe I might need to seek some sort of help, seek some sort of support, some sort of therapy, you know, be it where your child's school where you drop them off, speak to the teachers, ask them, is there any therapy that they can do for parents or anything like that? Maybe it's a thing where you drop the kid off to school, that therapy might be available as soon as you drop them off. You know, you might get half an hour, you can come back and your partner has no idea if they're a man that's not working, might have no idea that you did that therapy because you just got half an hour after you dropped the kid, you came back home in good time. Do you know what I mean? Same thing with work. When you're at work, your partner can't control what you do at work. Ask work for support. Maybe they might be able to get somebody in, or they've already got somebody in there that can provide you with therapy and stuff to lift up your self-confidence and your self-esteem, but also help you to identify that you are in a domestic violence situation, and they might help you pull out the stops to make certain steps, a plan, to safe plan to get you and your children out of that situation. But you must admit that you're in that situation first. Take it step by step, day by day. Don't rush anything. You know, don't expect change immediately, but as long as you're aware and as long as you're making those little, you know, adding those little markers to your plan, you might be able to get out safely and get your children out safely. But don't just put up with and stay in that relationship, because then it could become detrimental for you and detrimental for your children.
Well said, Verbz. Powerfully said. Well said.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, I can't even add to that. That is well said. Yeah. We just hope that you know, the people that need to hear this take the message on board, take the help, and run with it. You know, because we put awareness on this, and people. Yeah, we hope those that are going through any sort of domestic violence, have you been threatened with, with death, murder, know your worth, Yeah. You're someone's child. Always remember that, just know what I mean?
There's people out there that love you, man. You know what I mean? There's people out there that depend on you, and there's people out there that will miss you. So just know that you're valued. Do what you gotta do. Take your time, figure it out, but just invest in slowly figuring it out and getting yourself out of that situation. It's not going to happen in a day, but they always say it's better late than never.
Yeah, nice one, cuz.
Nice one, man. So till then, it's goodbye from myself, the one and only Verbz.
And myself, Geniusdan.
And we'll see you next week
Triggered
on the next episode of
Triggered
the
Thoughts.
Triggered Thoughts Podcast.